In today's video, we're going to be learning all about the Fly Agaric mushroom, or Amanita Muscaria. From its iconic pop culture mentions and recognisability to this day, to its medicinal benefits, to its psychoactive compounds, to its listing as a poisonous and toxic mushroom, and everything in between. We're going to cover the stories, the myths, the facts, the truths. We're going to try and do a deep dive into it. We're going to cover a whole host of different things all about this wonderful, beautiful mushroom. So let's get into it. So how do we identify this Amanita Muscaria? They're mycorrhizal mushrooms, which means that they have a symbiotic relationship with trees, most notably spruce, pine and silver birch. Now this will actually, because it's an Amanita, most Amanitas will grow out of a vulva or egg sac at the bottom, as you can see here. So that's that egg sac there. That would have grown from egg sac. This is the annulus or skirt that would have attached itself to the stipe, and then these beautiful markings that we know and love, these little speckles, are vulvaric remains from that egg sac. So when it bursts out of that egg sac and starts to grow, the cap is left with a little dappled effect on it, which comes from the egg sac itself, the vulvaric remains of that egg sac. So despite the name Fly Agaric, it is not in the Agaric family. It is actually an Amanita, which is one of the most deadly sort of genus of mushroom out there, the Amanita family. So of course you do need to be very careful when handling, touching, foraging, looking for these mushrooms out in the wild. I've done plenty of videos on mushroom foraging in the past, so go and check those out. Especially in the UK and in the Northern Hemisphere and Europe, we have two of the world's deadliest mushrooms in the Amanita family. The death cap and the destroying angel, both of which you do not want to ingest. I think I've just spotted some here. Yeah, beautiful baby. And there's some more over here, look. As we know, it is one of the most iconic and most recognisable mushrooms in the world. If you type the word mushroom into your phone, the likelihood is that the emoji that comes up next to the word mushroom will be one of these, the Fly Agaric or Amanita Muscaria. Every single member of the Amanita family will have white gills, very, very clear, bright white gills underneath the cap of the mushroom. Most, but not all, will have an annulus attached to the stipe, otherwise known as a skirt, and this is part of the vulvaric remains as it bursts through the egg sac. Most, but not all, will grow from an egg sac or vulva, and you will see some dappling and little spots on the cap resembling the leftover egg sac or vulvaric remains. The Amanita Muscaria will be from yellow into orange into red on the cap, and will give a gorgeous hue no matter what stage it's at, whether it's baby and bright red or whether it's mature and a lot more yellow and orange. It's the most recognisable mushroom in the world for a very good reason. It is so brightly coloured, it's very, very difficult to confuse it with some other mushrooms in this family. However, here's some to look out for, just for sort of cross comparison, and some that you might confuse it with. What can this mushroom be confused with? The panther cap, the blusher. So as you can see, these blushers are a lot more brown and pink and are not very red. So they do look similar. The dots are going to be a lot more concentric and spaced out evenly, and they're going to have a brown to beigey hue on them. The stipe is going to be quite pink. Again, white gills, gorgeous texture, but not red and not yellow or orange. Now, it is listed as toxic, poisonous and inedible and psychoactive, so I do not condone the use of this mushroom. I'm just teaching you the ways to identify it, how you can stay on the safe side of mushroom foraging with a bit of identification tips and tricks for you to make your own informed judgments. So what about the Christmas story? Well, it's said that essentially generation after generation of shamanic healers, especially with the Sami people and northern Scandinavia, would use this mushroom for healing purposes. It's said that this mushroom has got healing properties and healing powers and loads of different benefits when prepared properly and used in the right way. It's said that reindeers really like to eat this mushroom, and it puts them into a sort of sedative state where they're a little bit more relaxed, sometimes a little bit more hyper, a little bit more happy and giddy, dancing around and jumping around, which is where we got the idea for flying reindeers and then eventually the Christmas story. A mycorrhizal mushroom shares a symbiotic relationship with a host tree, passing nutrients underneath the ground through a mycelial network known as mycelium. It's then able to share those nutrients to the tree and from the tree to the mushroom, and it can send out stress signals to other plants and fungi around it. The fungal world is absolutely mind-blowing, and there is far too much information out there to actually learn fully, but people do specialise in it. People called mycologists. I refer to myself as a bit of an enthusiast and an amateur mycologist. I'm no expert, so please obviously do your own research, do check field guides and other information out there. I'll put some links in the description below for some other really insightful videos that helped me along my journey. Most of the poisonous and toxic amanitas, or mushrooms in the Amanita family, will have things called amatoxins. Now this can cause acute liver failure and renal failure to humans. In the Amanita Muscaria, or Fly Agaric, there are no amatoxins. So what are the two main chemical compounds within this mushroom that help to elevate and alter the mind state? Muscimol and ibotenic acid. These instead are called isoxazole toxins. You have the chemical compound of ibotenic acid here, and you also have the chemical compound known as muscimol here. Now, in their molecular makeup, they do look quite similar, but there are some differences. One is probably known more as a stimulant, and the other more as a depressant or kind of ambition loss, alcohol mimicking substance. Both, of course, can get you merry for different reasons, but again, it is very dangerous and very risky and volatile should you consume too high a dose of either one of them, but especially ibotenic acid. A high dose of ibotenic acid can lead to seizures, cardiac arrest, heart failure, heart attacks. And when foraging for these mushrooms, it's very difficult to determine cap by cap how much of each compound these mushrooms contain. It's so risky and difficult to determine safe dosages and how much you should take and how much of each compound is within each mushroom. It can differ hugely from cap to cap mushroom. Here's a really young specimen, absolutely gorgeous. It's said that us as a species, as a human species, would have used the fungal world for medicine, knowledge, power, healing, spiritual connection, all that kind of good stuff. And we, over time, have lost that knowledge throughout generations and generations. More modern technologies, screen culture, social media, all that kind of thing. We're losing touch with what it means to be human. And I'm trying to reconnect to nature myself a lot more, learn a lot more about what nature has to offer, because I truly believe that nature has the answer for most things and the solution to most problems. So what are some of the medicinal values and the medicinal healing properties that this mushroom can contain? Using this mushroom as a painkiller. When brewed into a tea, this mushroom can be extracted into a topical solution and added to alcohol to make a tincture, a topical tincture on wounds, joint pain, neck pain, back pain, arthritis, and in extremely low microdoses, you can take on this tincture under your tongue and use it to remedy things like sleep and sleep pattern and get a better night's rest. The muscimol can help aid sleep because it decreases brain activity, helps to relax the mind and soul, and helps you to drift off into a nice peaceful sleep and a long rested sleep, consistent sleep. It's even said to aid addiction. So if you're addicted to things like substances or alcohol, there was a study shown where people had taken this mushroom medicinally to try and replace the thing that they were taking, that they were addicted to. And the survey suggested that around 60 or 70% of those who used it never took the drug again, never took the substance, never took alcohol again. Whatever they were trying to get over and quit cold turkey from, the muscimol helped them do that and helped calm their mind. And there was no relapses in 60 or 70% of people that tried this. I think that's remarkable. Using this mushroom for spiritual breakthrough. For centuries, Scandinavian traditional reindeer herders would even drink the urine as to recycle the compounds within the mushroom and have a merry time themselves. There's loads of different experiences that this mushroom has been used and experimented with in the past. Again, I'm not condoning any of them. I'm not telling you to do something or telling you not to do something. All I'm trying to do today is, for educational purposes, give you some facts about the mushroom, give you some indications as to what to look for when you're out looking for such a beautiful mushroom as this, and urging people to do their own research. Traditional shamanic people, or witch doctors, would have used smoking, drying up this mushroom's cap, crushing it down and smoking the powder as ritualistic ceremonies, passing the pipe around, and were used for breakthrough psychedelic experiences. Similar to DMT, short trips, mega breakthrough. Again, I'm not condoning the use of any of those substances or this. The body itself can convert a small percentage of ibotenic acid into muscimol just through consumption and digestion. However, you can also convert around 30% in a process called decarboxylation. In this decarboxylation process, you can bake or dry and air dry the cap of the mushroom to convert around 30% ibotenic acid into muscimol, making it a much safer dosage for human consumption. But again, I am not recommending anybody consume it or try it. You can reduce the ibotenic acid even further by adding a citric acid like lemon juice or even milk. Things like that can help to really bring the ibotenic acid levels down and start to convert them into muscimol, so it's a much safer experience. If you want to know how to process this mushroom properly and safely, then go and check out Amanita Dreamer. Her channel is very, very insightful. That's the end of the video, guys. I hope that you have liked it at any point. If you have, give it a little like below. Don't forget to subscribe because it really does help support the channel. I've got plenty of other mushroom foraging and bushcraft content just like this, so hit the subscribe button. Without further ado, I'll see you on the next one.